This is Luminara with Autism Transformed. I'm actually the founder of Autism Transformed, where I like to look at a person's body holistically and help with autism recovery from there. So it's the holiday season, it's December in 2019, and what I want most for you, for your child, is to be healthy and to be happy. So I was just looking at some Instagram posts, and people were saying, like, showing pictures of when before their child regressed with autism, and you know how tough that is. And I can imagine, you know, like my heart feels for you because I get that. And what we want most out of anything is to bring our kids back, like to see who they were again, because we know they're in there, right? You know, the rate of chronic childhood illness in our society, at least in the US, is 1 out of every 2 children. Like 1 out of every 2 kids. Like that's a lot of sick kids. Now that's not all autism. That's like 1 in 36 right now, which is still atrocious. But you know, 1 out of every 2 kids being sick, that's not just autism, it's sensory processing, it's ADHD, even asthma, allergies. So there's like a whole spectrum of illness. From the inside of the body, there's like a spectrum of dysfunction or illness. And I work with kids on the autism spectrum who tend to be, you know, have some pretty big issues going on and some pretty big dysfunction in the body. And the way we see it is in their behaviors. Right? We see tantrums or anxiety or, you know, inability to focus, or they can't sit still. You know, they're constipated, they have gut issues, they have cognition issues, they're not developmentally with their peers. You know, speech, that's a big one, kids not being able to speak, or speech not being quite right, or expressive, or, you know, there's like a whole spectrum of behaviors that we see. You know, even autoimmunity and allergies, I would like consider on that spectrum of chronic illness. You know, my belief is that autism has a medical component to it, dysfunction in the body. So the behaviors we see are a reflection of what's going on inside. And that's why when I work with people, I want to look at the whole person, the whole body, the whole brain, all the body systems. But that also includes emotions and the energetic body. You know, like in Chinese medicine, we have all these meridians and the qi flows. So really a holistic approach. And I really like to look inside. I'm a scientist, so I like the nitty gritty. I love the biochemistry. I want to look inside and see what chronic infections are there, what chronic immune system behavior that's off that we need to look at. What's the toxicity? How these contribute to this internal milieu or this internal body biomap, right? That affects our behaviors. It affects how we express ourselves to the outside world. It affects our brain. It affects our cognitive ability. It affects our attention. It affects our emotion. So it's all wrapped in together, and it's kind of a tough thing to piece apart and pull apart. But that's where I come in. I like to be the detective and look at all the different things that are going wrong, produce a body biomap, and say, well, this is what we need to work on, and then you just take it step by step. So if you haven't investigated these things yet that are potentially going on inside the body that contribute to the behaviors, so I really, really hope you find someone that can help you with that, someone that you can work with, someone knowledgeable, someone with experience, you know, a functional medicine doctor or a MAPS doctor. They used to be the DAN doctors, you know, someone who can really has that approach of what's the root cause of what's going on. And if you already have someone like that, then woohoo, good for you. Then you're on the right track, I feel like. And you probably have a team of people helping you. And you're probably working with nutrition and diet and certain supplements. And maybe you're doing chiropractic or acupuncture or cranial sacral, or, you know, there's a lot of methods. So good for you and good for your child. And I believe what I hear from parents is that they see a difference from doing these things, even just going gluten-free, casein-free, right? Changing the diet and not putting the junk in to your child's body that's giving it a hard time can help tremendously. So If you're seeing results, awesome, that's great. And if you want to be seeing results faster, you know, maybe you're not seeing it fast enough, or I hear from parents that things are really slow going, or there's slow, steady changes, but there's no like big bumps, then there are some things you might want to consider. And I've talked about this before. I did this in my last Facebook Live, and I'll probably talk about it again because it's like super hot and super important. Drainage. So drainage is the #1 thing that needs to be done to help get the toxins out of your children's body. I feel like that's the #1, I don't want to say cause of autism, but like, you know, if you don't take your garbage out of your house for a year, what does it look like? So imagine like that's how your child's body looks like on the inside. If you're not taking the toxins out and it's loaded, right? You need to be getting those out. And, you know, when there's all kinds of stuff in there, there can be like lots of infection just hiding out, and, you know, just dysfunction and misbehavior. And like, we can't see it because there's just so much overwhelm in there. So not only do those toxins and that stuff not to need to be there, but they create dysfunction. So once toxins and the junk are draining out of your child's body, like they need to be pooping every day, nice fully formed poop, not little rabbit pellets, then the good stuff that you're trying to put in can get in better. You know, all those supplements and the nutritious food and, you know, the juicing and the smoothies or whatever you're doing, it can actually get in and work better. So I want to shift a little bit to saying results that I've seen with clients. It's a little bit of a shameless self-promotion here, but I can't help but share it because it's so amazing. And I would love every parent to be able to achieve this with their kids. I get feedback all the time that looks like this. I'm going to give you a few examples. Now, I'm not just doing drainage. I'm not just doing nutrition changes and supplement, but what I'm actually doing, and it's a combination of those, and what I'm actually doing is helping the body to give it a very specific instruction on how to operate better. So it's kind of like an upgrade in the operating system, right? When you update your computer or your iPad or your phone, things operate better because it's like better technology, upgraded software, right? It's doing things better. This is very specific to each person, right? If you have an Android phone or a Mac phone or a, you know, different Mac computer, whatever it is, each operating system is going to be different. So each person is different depending on, you know, their uniqueness. So the way I do this is through neuromodulation technique. Maybe you've heard me talk about this before. Maybe you know nothing about it. I'm not going to take the time to explain what neuromodulation technique is right here. You can go on my website at autismtransformed.com, and I have a whole page on NMT. That's for neuromodulation technique. So I have a whole page on NMT, and I have some videos explaining what it is and how distance healing works, you know, how I work with people from a distance. So you can go on there and check that out. I don't want to go into the NMT here. And then you can also go on my website, and I have a page called results, and that, you know, some of these stories are from there and some are just not on there. So what I really want to do is just share what parents are seeing with their kids after I take a drink of water. Okay, so this is someone I just worked with recently. It's a 3-year-old girl, and this is feedback from her mom after the first session. She says, since her last treatment, her first treatment, she has been happier throughout the day. Although she is already pretty even-tempered, she's just been happier all around. Her therapists have also said that she is smiling more during the therapies, and when we pick her up, they emphasize how well she's doing. She has recently learned how to use a core board to help with her speech, and she's learning how to use it very quickly. Her eye contact is better, and she seems more engaged. She used to get this really lost look in her eyes during car rides, and we don't see that much anymore. So this was maybe about, you know, not even 2 weeks ago. That from a mom. Okay, this is from a mom of a 6-year-old boy who he was getting sick every month. He would take 2 weeks to be sick and recover. And during that 2 weeks, he would stop making any progress and somewhat regress. So he would just kind of take backward steps. All right, yesterday was 1 month since our first session with Luminara, and we would say that from that day Change and progress and differences, capital is differences, have been making themselves known to us. The changes we see are at every level. Interaction is way better and a noticeable increase. Every therapist has commented on the dramatic improvement they've seen. It's a very complex, rich improvement. It's different than ever before. Speech, connection, choice of words, started using connective words like and, clearer pronunciation, singing lyrics, complete songs, which has never happened before. He had almost an entire month of being calm, pretty regulated, riding a scooter, a bike. He had never done that before. Being able to be out in the world a little more easily, growing connection with family. He is not as fragile when he gets sick, and being sick lasts less time. He hasn't had the nasal congestion we normally hear at night when he's sleeping. His OT came upstairs the other day after working with him for an hour on her own, and she had tears in her eyes because she was so stunned with how well he is doing. Things just feel generally easier from the deep grind that has been our lives for so long. So that was a month working together. I think that would have been probably 2 sessions we had. Okay, I got a couple more for you. This is from a 3-year-old boy. His mom reported this. There's more self-awareness of the external environment, more independent play with toys, and less iPad and phone usage, more interaction with brother, and wants a friend from church. So that was new, wanting a friend. Muscle tone has improved. He's spontaneously speaking on his own, which he hadn't been. Walking more instead of darting from place to place, not running away. Receptive language is improving, and he's not as much hard work as he used to be. Again, that same kind of feeling of ease with a parent. And this is one more from the mom of a 23-year-old man I worked with. After 4 sessions, he is continuing to do well. He is much calmer, and his nervous system seems to be resetting, meaning that he is not in a constant state of fight or flight. His OCD behavior has also decreased. While he does sometimes still get stuck in a repeating pattern, it occurs less frequency, and the intensity is also lessened. He can often be redirected after a few minutes. This is a huge improvement. He seems to be happier overall and more at peace. So these are just a few. I've worked with so many people, and I could have different stories. Anyway, I won't go into any more. I just wanted to share a few nuggets with you. So I do individual one-on-one sessions, and I also do group sessions, which if you want to get on my email list, if you go to my website, autismtransformed.com, and get on either, I have a couple of downloads there you can get for free and get on my email list, you'll be notified of when the group sessions will be happening in January. They're way lower cost than in working with me individually. And still, I just talked to a mom yesterday who was in my group, and she said how much it helped her son. She had worked with me individually before, and then she went on, I hate to say it, the Nemetschek protocol, but I'm just reporting honestly what this mom told me, and he really went downhill after the Nemetschek protocol. I've heard really amazing things about that, but I've also heard that it hasn't done much, and I know that in the Nemetschek protocol, you're supposed to not do any other supplements and really just follow it to a T, and I think in this case, his not doing the other supplements really, he really needed that. And when he wasn't getting that nutrition, that he just went downhill. So she joined my group healing sessions and that we just had in the fall. And she just would see market improvements in him just overall. So there's a couple ways to work with me if you want to do the neuromodulation. But what I really want to say is if you want these improvements in your child, right now I'm offering a huge discount to have a consult with me. It's 50% off. So it's normally $200 to have a consultation. And just through the end of December 2019, I've got a few spots open that are left, so you can get it for $100. So it's half the cost. And you know, I have to say, I'm definitely not going to completely heal your child in a 50-minute consultation. That's not really what that's about. It's not the point of the consult. The point of the consult is to get some expert advice from someone who's helped kids make significant changes, which I just described some of those to you, to feel better, to act differently, to be more engaged, to be less anxious, less isolated, right? There's so many changes that can happen, and it really depends on where your child starts, right? Everyone starts in a different place, so everyone's going to see slightly different results, which is why I have on my website a bunch of different comments from parents. These are things they actually write to me in emails, and I get their permission to put it on my website. And, just so I can show people what happens from session to session. I don't even have, nearly half of that up there. And I don't have a lot of it up there. Most of it's not up there. So when we do have a consult, it's called the Next Steps Discovery Consult. So the name says it all. What we want to do is look at what are the next steps for your child. So we'll discuss your child's current state, how they are, their symptoms, their issues, what's going on with them. And I'm sure you're probably doing some things to help your child. So we'll talk about what you're doing already and how that could be better implemented if it can. I'll give you recommendations for next steps in your child's recovery toward health. So there's really common, even though everyone starts differently, there's kind of common stages. And you'll see on my website, I have a download that's called the Autism Recovery Journey in 4 steps. And so in 4 stages. So the stages are common, but how we approach each stage is a little bit different. So we'll talk about what those differences and how we can approach that for your child, and hopefully give you strategies that you can implement right now. Usually there's something based on what you tell me, I can pull something out and be like, oh, this could be really helpful, and it can make a huge change right away without even doing any sessions with me. And then we'll also talk about, you can ask me questions about NMT, how, if you feel like I would be a good fit to work with your child, to work with you. And I work with the parents, and the children are there, obviously. Not everyone can communicate with me, like not a 3-year-old. But we'll just see if that's something that resonates with you, if that's something you want to do. We can talk about that. One of the things I offer with doing the neuromodulation is I create a body, I think I mentioned this earlier, I do a bunch of assessments and create kind of an internal body biomap. So it's a biomap of function and dysfunction. And once we say, oh, there's something here and here and here and here, and we look at the different areas of dysfunction, we can methodically help to correct those areas of dysfunction. So that's what we do. That's what I do in my NMT healing sessions. We also, of course, look at nutrition and supplements and behaviors and actions and what else you can do. And, I test all of the supplements, make sure your child's not allergic to something. We want to make sure that, if they're taking 1 capsule and they only need a 1/4 capsule, save you some money too. So that's part of the process. Not during the Next Step Discovery Consult, but if you work with me and we're doing NMT and we're really taking this holistic, committed approach to helping your child. So if you want to take advantage of that offer, I jump on it now. I am going to put in the comments below the link so that you can sign up. So first, I think you go through the payment page, and then my calendar pops up, and then you can choose a time. And if the times on there aren't working for you, you can contact us, and we'll find a time to fit you in. So I only have a few of these left before the end of the year, and so I want to say, just go for it right away if this resonates with you. So the link's below, and the coupon code, which I'll also put below, is SAVE100, SAVE 100. So you're saving $100. And the best part about that consult is that, well, not the best part, but a good part about the consult is that $100 you pay, or if you don't get it in December and you ever have a consult with me in the future, whatever you pay for that consultation, if you work with me, if we decide to work together within 3 months of your consult, that fee, that $100 fee, goes toward the cost of the package. So it means the consult was essentially free for you. So that's the advantage. That's another advantage. But yeah, it's really my passion and my great joy to help kids feel better in their body and, live a better life and feel really, really good in their bodies. So anyway, I can be of service. Please call on me. Put questions in the chat box, or yeah, I mean, just contact me however you can and ask me questions if I'm not covering them here. And I'm looking for where I am on Facebook Live so that I can see if there's any comments. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything right now. But please add your comments. I'll put the information in the comments on how to do the, how to get this consult. And yeah, I wish you happy holidays and really great success with your kids always. So this is Luminara Serdar with Autism Transform. Everyone take care. Thanks. Bye.